Warning, do not watch if you are an easily offended conservative male or woman. Now please enjoy the general programming. Hello, welcome to Mad Dog's Happy Hour. I am Maddie Tubergen, your host, and today I'm here with
Tonita Rincones. Do I use my last name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Works. And
Taylor Sanderson, hi.
yes!
Yeah, let's
and
go.
they are from the, oh, that's my shoe. They are from the club Bridge Builders, which is
We both are. Very
yes, they are both from the club Bridge Builders, and they are a club that is gives a safe space for people in the LGBTQ plus community on campus.
Yes,
Woo!
sir. Woo. Oh, yeah.
And today's episode is very, very important. We are going to be discussing homophobic and transphobic laws in the U.S., but more specifically in the state that we live in, Tennessee. So when I was doing my research on this, I struggled finding laws that were still in place, but there were laws in place, and there were laws being discussed. So that's what we're going to head into first. If y'all have been on the internet, y'all know about this one. The Don't Say Gay bill. Okay, so y'all know that in Florida, they passed this law, and Florida's crazy, and we all know that.
We hate Florida.
We hate Florida.
We don't talk
We
about
hate
it.
Florida.
Yeah.
It needs to be ejected from the U.S. It's weird. So obviously when this law was passed in Florida, it caused quite a stir because some people were like, hooray, let's get them out of schools or whatever. And then other people were like, or I'll just bleep that out. This is...
Can we not swear in your project?
I get an F.
You get the F for saying the F word. Swear words in college
I
as an
know.
adult.
I know, it's so bad.
Wow, Maddie.
I know. It's a bad. I'm bad. I'm a bad person. But you know, other people were like, y'all, it is literally 2022. What are we doing? So yeah. So we're in Tennessee, right? We're in the South. The
Unfortunately.
South is not too progressive as, you know, everyone our age knows. Anyone who's ever existed.
Yeah.
You know,
had the
it is
unfortunate-
the epitome of bigotry in, you know, in geological form. Anyways, so the state of Tennessee was considering the Don't Say Gay bill, but thanks to the TTPC, aka the Tennessee Transgender Political Coalition, this bill was booted out of schools, which is really important. And, you know, and today I also want to discuss why it's so important for us as American citizens to use our voices, because, you know, this is a democracy, you know, so we the people, whatever. So, I mean, that's like legit, but like whatever. But, you know, it's, you know, we have the right to speak up for ourselves, you know, or not ourselves, but like speak up for others and, you know, be like, this isn't okay, this is what needs to change. So yeah, we're also going to get at that today. So if you are somebody who is homophobic and transphobic,
Go away.
go away.
Just stop.
Stop. But also, I'm going to tell you why this law is so harmful if, you know, you are very angry about it. So, health experts say that the legislation like Florida's Parental Rights and Education Bill, which has been dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by its opponents, can negatively affect the mental and physical health of young people. So, that's not good. We don't want that. According to experts, when a person's identity or the identity of a loved one becomes politicized and a point of debate, it can be dehumanizing. We don't want that. And it increases stigma and stress, and it can be especially damaging for impressionable, vulnerable young people. So, okay. Like, I don't know why, in my opinion, these are adults, you know? These are adults who... I just don't understand it, you know? It's like... You don't...
like, what specifically?
Like, you don't want your kids to have a knowledge of the world. Like, gay people exist. Trans people exist. It's not indoctrinating. It's not...
It's just a fact of life.
It's just a fact of life. Exactly. And it's like... And especially now in our society where people are so open about their sexualities and gender identities, it is so stupid to... It is a step backwards.
For sure.
In our society to be like... Actually, no. All the work that we did and all the pain and suffering this group of people went through, let's delete it.
Yeah.
Let's delete all of this. Stressed children can withdraw from normal activities. So, like, you know, with the feeling that, like, if you make it known that, you know, any sexual like identity beyond being straight isn't okay or isn't allowed to be discussed in school, that's going to cause more stress on these kids. Right. And they're not going to be able to grow like normally and just like, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like it just leads to a more damaging life for that child.
And to be completely honest, I think that's what they want. I think that's exactly what they want.
They just...
It's to just make queer people, like, suffer so much to the point where it's like, okay, might as well, like, the only way out of this is... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's, like, what conservative politicians... That's what they want, you know? I'm pretty sure that's the goal. So, like...
Yeah, it's like, very disheartening because for a group of people that is supposed to be pro-life or whatever and care about the lives of human beings, it's, you know, you obviously just don't.
No, not at all.
So that's, yeah. And it says stressed teens are more susceptible to substance use and we don't want that.
No, I think that's what they want though. That's my thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's clearly what they want.
Yeah.
That's something you shouldn't want.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, it's very telling, you know? Mm-hmm. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, these laws attack our existence, you know? They want to snuff out our existence. That's what they're trying to do because, like, you know, it's, you know, the cishet white men who are at the top of society.
Yep.
And so, you know, queer people of color, you know, when we start to, like, raise our voices and demand respect and rights that threatens their place of power. And then, you know, they lash out with this kind of legislation to stomp us out and de-spirit us. And so you're totally right. It's they're trying to get rid of us because it threatens them. And it's oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good, friend. You went off. As you should.
We'll edit. It's okay. So, I found an article from May 17th, 2022 by Joe Ukaba from NBC News. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry.
Joe Mama. Anyway.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe. I don't even know if his name is pronounced that. So a federal judge struck down a Tennessee law Tuesday that would have required businesses in the state to post warning notices on their public restrooms if they have policies allowing transgender patrons to use the facilities that match their gender identities.
Yeah.
The American Civil Liberties Union challenged the law in June on behalf of two business owners. The owner of Sanctuary, a performing arts and community center in Chattanooga, and the owner of Fido, a restaurant in Nashville. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we know that place.
Luckily, they did get it. I believe they did stop it, right? That's what I heard.
Among other businesses.
Yeah.
The law went into effect July 1st. But U.S. District Judge Aleda A. Traeger, or I don't know how to say the person's name, issued a preliminary injunction, I don't know what that means, against it a week later.
Preliminary injunction. Let me Google that.
I have no
idea what that means.
Then on Tuesday,
wow, we're so uninformed. Yikes.
Traeger permanently blocked the law by granting the ACLU's motion for summary judgment, which asks a court to decide a case without a full trial.
What's it called again?
Preliminary injunction.
Preliminary injunction. So that is an injunction that... Oh, hold on. An extraordinary and drastic remedy that may only be awarded upon a clear showing that the quote-unquote moving party is entitled to such relief. Okay, this is a basic one. A temporary order made by a court at the request of one party that prevents the other party from pursuing a particular course of conduct until the conclusion of a trial on the merits.
Yep.
So I guess that means, like, they stopped it.
They stopped it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically, the law was stopped,
Smooth
but
brain.
it's incredibly ridiculous. It says here that the sign had to be at least 8 inches wide and 6 inches tall and use the colors red, yellow with a boldface type, among other requirements. Yeah. So this is ridiculous about trans people using bathrooms, or people being afraid about, trans women using women's restrooms and trans men using men's restrooms, because we all know the fear is that it's going to be like some pervert trying to get into the women's restroom, which is so
ridiculous.
Stupid. And we all know it's stupid, and they know it's stupid.
That's like never stopped. Like that's supposed to be. That's ever stopped anything before. Like that's ever stopped a man before. Right?
If a man was going to break into a woman's bathroom, he's just gonna.
He would have done it anyway.
Sorry, like that. Men are sickos.
Yeah.
Men are sickos, and they do weird crap. They don't care.
But it's not. You can't be all like.
No man is
but it's trans women that are the problem. Clearly.
Yeah.
Right.
A trans woman who clearly has no interest in what other women are doing. They just are trying to live life.
No. It's very dog whistle.
We all know. We all know the classic tale. And it's just offensive at this point and stupid and overused. The reason I found this article interesting is because the fact that the state of Tennessee even enforced this. They enforced this law July 1st. I think it had to be 2021, right?
Yeah, it had to be.
July 1st of 2021, because this article was written in May 17th, 2022.
For sure, yeah.
That's, scary.
And it's only getting scarier. I mean, did you hear about the drag queen law that they're doing in January? I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, no, I did not.
Basically, what's happening is that in January, they're passing a law to ban, basically drag queens in public spaces. Are supposed to be, around children in the state of Tennessee, but it's, literally, you can basically, the law is so vague, you can bend it to just be, people, cross-dressing, minding their own business, just walking outside, who just happen to be, dressed cross. Can literally get arrested. It's giving, Berlin, Germany, 1930, you know what I mean?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Lord.
It really is.
So
and my friend, Taylor, you mentioned this before, you were basically fearing for your life now, and, you know what I mean? Because I know that's Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And strongly considering moving. I always thought I would stay in Tennessee, but there's not much keeping me here, and
me too.
I constantly have this weight over my head. Whenever legislation like this passes, it just creates a culture of hostility, and I think that's the big thing. It tells queer people that they're not welcome here, and I'm already thinking about places I want to go, other than here. And so this legislation has a huge effect, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It is not based on fact whatsoever. There's no predators dressing up as pretending to be trans people and going into bathrooms.
Exactly.
That's not happening. That's made up.
And
None of this. Conservatives don't care about facts.
No.
They don't care.
Republicans love making up issues and then getting mad about issues that don't even exist.
Yes, it's true. It's mind baffling. It's just baffling.
They ignore.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, exactly. Actual problems are like, no, made up problems. Let's go.
Yeah,
exactly. Like such as the large amount of research that is about minority stress for LGBT youth and how legislation contributes to that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like it's literally killing us.
Exactly.
They don't care about that though.
No, they did not.
It's actually the reason why I'm actually, spring is actually going to be my last semester at Belmont, because I'm actually moving to Vegas, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be going to school over there because, Tennessee is literally just getting scarier and scarier, and as, a queer, woman of color, the South is constantly telling me, you're not welcome here. And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, it's really frustrating because I know there are a lot of, queer minority people like me who aren't as privileged as I am in the sense of I can just get up and move somewhere else,
I mean, you see them every day.
Yeah.
Whenever I go out to eat, I mean, I know it's bold to assume people are part of the LGBTQ community. Sometimes I'm just I know, girl.
You can just tell.
This man that works at Portland, I'm just girl.
A little sus, yeah, for sure.
I'm but I love him. He's always got his nails done. He's
very based. I love that.
He's a king. He's got his little mullet. He's living his life.
And it's you want to harm that guy?
Yes.
It's
him with his little mustache.
He's just vibing.
And his nails, he's working.
Out of all the things you can get upset about,
he's contributing to society. He's making his money. He's paying his bills.
Exactly. It's
he's a citizen.
He's just a happy little dude. And out of all the things you're gonna get upset about, you're gonna get upset about this one man.
It's these people are contributing
for real.
members of society. I mean, some drag queens are make bank. Trixie Mattel. I love Trixie and Katya. I watch their show all the time. I love Bald and the Beautiful.
Maddie's our favorite ally. Let's go. We love Maddie.
I am an ally. I am an ally, man. I care about this.
The token straight homie. We love you.
Straight homie.
Thank you for being cool.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I want to move in, because it's supposed to be 20 minutes. I'll just go a little bit over. I don't really care. Who cares?
Did you have questions for us?
Yeah, I do have some questions.
Ooh.
So I assume that I'm gonna ask. So, what would?
Okay, go on.
Okay. What would you say to people who are for these laws?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
No, we'll cut that.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What would you say to convince these people that these laws are harmful? What would you tell them about because you guys are both queer people.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys find that term offensive.
No, you're good. You're totally fine.
You guys are both.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no, I identified as queer.
Yeah,
okay.
same these.
Cool. So you guys are both queer people. These laws obviously have an effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to these people to really have them under? Because you already kind of said some things that are very powerful. You guys said you don't want to live here anymore.
Yes.
That's not sad, but that's very disheartening. And I just anything else you guys want to say to these people to just be hey man, this isn't
what do you mean? Is it
what
I'm trying to think of how to word it.
What would you say to them to convince them that these laws are just unjust and it's not they're not right?
Well, I don't know. I guess because in my experience, it can be very hard to talk to people who have these views. You know what I mean? So, I think in any way possible, if you can convince someone, I think that's great. In my experience, it's just very hard because most conservative people seem to be no, this is like a very kind of black and white thinking, which I can understand to an extent because I'm autistic, but you know what I mean, not in a very like black and white thinking of like in a toxic way, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I guess I would just say maybe something like I guess I think it's important to maybe just like think about why exactly you have these views and like where are they coming from. Is it like from a deep like insecurity about maybe your own sexuality or like your existence in life, you know what I mean? Potentially maybe just like figure out like where does all this kind of just kind of like sit with yourself and think, where does all this kind of come from? Where does this stem from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I don't understand how someone could have like so much of this like hate and aggression towards a group of people that like just want to live, because I'm sure if they were in that position they wouldn't want that being done to them. So like it's just kind of like, where does this all come from? What about you, Taylor? Did you have anything?
Yeah, I agree with you that it's so difficult to reason with people who have these beliefs, because a lot of times they're really stubborn. They don't want to change. They have, maybe it's like a lot of times it's religious, and that is impossible to argue. But I would ask them to imagine if it was their child, you know, if their child grew up in an environment where their identity was, you know, villainized and looked down upon, and, you know, and if, like, literally they were being criminalized against, you know, what would that do to your child? How would that make them feel, especially if it was their parent who was supporting laws or actively creating these laws? You know, imagine doing that to your child. Imagine criminalizing your own child for loving somebody else or wanting to wear a certain thing or be called, you know, certain nouns. Like, I just imagine what you're doing to children. They're not hurting anybody at all. They're just trying to exist.
Yeah.
So I would just try.
I love that. They're just trying to exist.
Yeah.
Because that's everyone. We're all just trying to exist. And I think that's I think that is what I don't understand where, as somebody who grew up with a more religious background, I grew up Catholic.
Me too, but like the Hispanic kind. So it's like kind of a different ballpark.
Yes, different ballpark. I grew up white Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
So just a bunch of old, creepy guys. But in high school especially, that's like, because I would say, and I'm ashamed to admit this, for a long time I was very homophobic and transphobic because that's how I was raised. Sure, not by my parents, just by everyone I knew. Everyone I knew was homophobic. Everyone I knew was transphobic. So if you weren't, you were like, oh, she's just whatever. You know, like you got ridiculed, and it's brutal. And so, not saying it's okay, because it's not, and you shouldn't, and there's no excuses for that. But it's an explanation, because I don't want it to make it seem like. But I eventually was like, okay, I don't actually believe these things. I'm just doing this to.
May I ask like what it is that made you kind of like realize like, nah, these really aren't my values? What kind of like turned you away from that, if you don't mind me asking?
I think just growing up. I realized I wasn't happy being the person I was.
What made you realize that? Was it just kind of like...
I had like a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I had a mental breakdown. That's so personal. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, you're good. I feel like if we can't be vulnerable, you know, in this, then it's like, you know, what else, you know? It's all good. We got you. We support you. You're good.
Anyways, I had a mental breakdown, and I had a crisis my freshman year of high school, and I realized I was such a bad person, basically. And I was like, you know, I'm done. I'm done being a bad person. You know, I'm going to try to turn my life around. And so I did.
That is awesome. Like, you should really congratulate yourself for that, dude.
No, I'm proud of you.
That is amazing, because, like, most people don't do that. Like, think about it. Like, at your age, like, how old are you?
18.
Like you're 18, and there are old ass like men running, like 60-year-old men running our fucking country who haven't even come to that conclusion that you have at the ripe old age of 18. So like that is pretty fucking remarkable. You know what I mean? I mean, you should be proud of yourself. Really, you should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I totally agree with that. And I went through something similar actually. I didn't grow up religious, but I grew up in a pretty conservative household. My dad was a cop, and he had some very old-fashioned beliefs. And my parents never told me that gay people existed. And I identify as demisexual and pan-romantic. And since I didn't experience a lot of sexual attraction, it took me a long time to figure out I was queer. And so when I first found out really what gay people were, I was about 8 when I was hearing the word gay, but I only knew it as an until I was like 13 or 14, it's when I really understood what it meant. And I realized that there were a lot of gay people out there. It's not just like, I thought it was like a 1 in a million.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but at first I was like, my initial reaction was like, that's not normal. I don't want to see that. And then, because that's just what I grew up with, you know, I grew up with princes and princesses. And I was like, kind of like you, where I was like, no, Taylor, don't be a jerk. Like, don't do that. You know, try to learn and educate yourself.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I realized I'm a little fruity myself, and like it was definitely a journey, and it required me to like take action to challenge those beliefs that I socialized into, and so I think like, you know, it's really understandable that you have beliefs because that's what you grew up with. And it takes challenging those beliefs to really grow past it. And so good for you.
For sure, yeah.
I'm proud of you. And
you.
I just wish that more people would do that, you know, that they wouldn't just...
I do too. There's a lot of people I still know, especially guys. I think it's really hard for guys. Because, like, notice how most of these lawmakers who are extremely homophobic are men.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's just something in their
in the DNA.
Yes, in the DNA.
Male DNA, yeah.
Where they're they're just genetically more homophobic. I don't really know.
I think it comes from, I was reading a study about like where a lot of like homophobic tendencies come from, and one of them was like being socialized in an environment full of hypermasculinity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like any like expression of something that would be deemed like feminine or is like deemed as bad, because
I always forget about that.
Yeah,
I do have that problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
you're right.
Like a lot of toxic masculinity, you know, like
Yes.
being like raised in a very conservative, like hyper masculine culture,
yeah,
tends to like whether or
and
not.
that's all I grew up around.
For sure, yeah.
It was very much like, because like all the guys that like I grew up with were athletes, you know.
Right.
Like it was very few of them.
They're the worst.
They are the worst. They're the worst. Like I hate all the guys. Sorry, if I went to high school with you and you were a man, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And you don't like me either, and I know that for a fact. I was not like I was definitely the girl in high school where the guys are like, she's crazy. I'm like, I know.
I bet. You know, I feel like
I know I am crazy, and it's insane. Sorry to like, cause like we are going over time. I'm just gonna email my teacher and be like, I'm so sorry. We've kind of already discussed. I'm just gonna leave. My second question is what makes you most angry about these laws. I feel like we touched on that.
Right.
So I'm gonna talk about ways you can help out in this fight.
Yeah.
I found a few resources. So, place you can donate to is I picked like 2. I tried to find like a thing where like, you know, this email your congressman.
Right. Yeah.
It's finals week, so I didn't do that.
No, you're good. I think like I was telling Maddie earlier. I think if anybody has Instagram, Jace Wilder, he is a trans advocate in Tennessee, and he does a lot of really good work and knows a lot of good resources in Tennessee. So if you guys like maybe wanted to look him up, or like I think his Instagram is, what is his Instagram? Do you know where it is, Taylor? I think it's
Jace is what?
I think so, yeah. If anybody has Instagram, like definitely reach out to him. And I know he probably knows like a lot of good resources specifically. I know not just for people like in Tennessee, but the Trevor Project is a really lot of good work for queer people
also,
in the West.
Miley Cyrus's thing, hippies. What is it?
I don't think I've heard of it.
It's like,
Oh, I think I have, but I forgot
I
what
forget
it's
what it is,
called.
but I love Miley Cyrus.
She's
Such a
great.
good ally.
She's awesome.
She's
actually bi.
I know.
Excuse me, pan.
Oh, no,
I think.
she's
Oh,
bisexual.
tomato, tomato. I identify as bi and pan. So
Oh,
yeah. Woo!
We love Miley Cyrus here.
Sweet niblets.
Sweet niblets. Miley. Anyways,
But let's see.
yeah.
We got the Trevor Project. There is a trans organization. I forgot what it was called, but let me look it up. Also, specifically in Nashville, there's I think it's called the Nashville Launchpad, is where they do if you wanted to donate to homeless LGBT youth, they do like housing and stuff, like right here in Nashville. It's called Nashville Launchpad. So you could totally donate to them. They do a lot of great work. I think, it's the National Center for Transgender Equality, so that's like all across the U.S.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
That is really great. I told Taylor the story, but I went out with this guy who I found out was really transphobic, and I didn't want to go out with him anymore. And he was begging me to go out with him again. And I said,
of course.
So I lied to him, and I was like, okay, well, the only way I'll go out with you again is if you donate at least $25 to this organization. And he did, and he took a screenshot and showed it to me. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then I blocked him.
Yeah.
Freaking!
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
No, yeah, exactly, for sure.
Like I'm never ever going out with someone who's homophobic.
Oh no,
because I've interacted with too many men like that. I can't.
They're the worst.
They're the worst. Because they're not even funny. They're not even interesting.
They're not.
You sound like an ape.
No, for
Sorry.
real.
Like,
no, they're so boring. They're so boring.
You sound like an ape and you're an idiot.
Tends to be my experience with like cis
Yeah,
men
again,
in general.
if you're a man I went to high school with, you're an ape and an idiot, and I don't like you. Anyways, this is getting way out of hand. A great thing to donate to that helps everywhere in the South is Southerners on New Ground. I know I did it like that, I'm sorry. Song is a home for LGBTQ plus liberation across all lines of race, class, abilities, age, culture, gender, and sexuality in the South. We build, sustain, and connect a Southern regional base of LGBTQ people in order to transform the region. Amazing. So this doesn't just help Tennessee, it also helps the South, which needs help and needs Jesus for the love of God.
It needs Lady Gaga. You guys need Lady Gaga.
We need Gaga here now.
Yeah, exactly.
She is God. I'm so
She
sorry.
literally is. So she is, as you should. You're my favorite ally. I love Maddie. She's great, you guys.
Okay. Trevor Project, we've already discussed it. That's obviously very important. I think that like anyone who's an ally knows, or is just, alive, knows about the Trevor Project.
We've got Trevor Project, Nashville Launchpad, what else? A National Center for Transgender Equality. What were you going to say, Taylor?
Oasis Center is really great. They're a youth community center, and they have a program for LGBT youth, so they're pretty cool. And then there's also the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce in Tennessee. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're great.
And my final thing that I think, I was like, I heard it, I saw it, and I was like, perfect. This is amazing, just what I needed to see. The ACLU of Tennessee, the American Civil Liberties Union of Tennessee.
Yes.
Is freedom's watchdog, challenging government abusive rights and fighting for fairness in our laws and their enforcement. We are dedicated to translating the guarantees of the Bill of Rights into reality for Tennesseans, moving our state forward as we work to protect and promote justice and equality. That, to me, I was like, that's beautiful. I love that. Because they care about protecting people. They care about equality, and they care about protecting everyone's rights. Yeah. And I like that. So, we do have to wrap it up, and I'm very apologetic.
Oh, you're good.
But I just want to say, if you do want to help out, just talk to people, man. You know, like, just talk to people. You don't have to, like, you know, if you're like, I don't have money, okay. Like, I don't know how to write, okay. If you know how to speak, go to your homophobic uncle and be like, hey, uncle, what's the issue here? Like, why don't you like us? Or why don't you like me? Or why don't you like my friends? Like,
or
you
just
know,
talk to queer people. You
just
know?
talk to
like,
queer people. Talk
make some
to
queer
people.
friends. Like, ask.
Yes.
It's never like there's
Jesus
never
Christ.
stupid. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, even if you think it's the dumbest question ever. I'm so sorry.
No, it's actually okay.
Oh, it's okay. Good.
It's okay.
But yeah, just talk to queer people. You know, like I said, I don't think there's any such thing as a stupid question, especially if you've been raised in a very like conservative, cultish environment. Like becoming like getting out of that and like finding your place in the worord outside of that
research.
Like bubble, outside of that like little bubble. I think is like super important, and it's okay to ask questions. You know what I mean?
Because as someone who grew up in that bubble, it's really easy to do research.
It is, yeah.
And you're going to find people who have your same beliefs. Because I was so fortunate to have so many people that I still love to this day who we bonded over how much we hated our high school and how homophobic it was and how much we hated it because of how homophobic and awful and just racist and like garbage it was.
Where are you from?
Indiana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't be gay in Indiana. I love that.
Yes, don't do it. You're gonna regret it. Move out. Run away. Get out. I'm not even gay and I ran out of Indiana.
Well, I mean, you're also here. Like, at the same time, you're also, like, a woman, a female-identifying person. So, it's going to be, like, the South already
my rights have been infringed. Yeah, my rights have been infringed.
Yeah. We're all under attack in this, you know?
Yeah.
And so, it's important to stand up, you know? And fight.
Have conversations. Donate if you can. Donate $10.
Or
donate
even just $5.
Yeah. I donated $10 2 weeks ago to 2 organizations. I forget what it was, and it was for Club Q. That's a tragedy. That's also I wanted to talk about this because of Club Q. You know, y'all just do what you can. Do what you can and do what you can do about it. That doesn't make sense, but you know, that's what we've got. So I wanted to say thank you so much to Taylor and to, I'm so sorry, I'm going to struggle pronouncing it. Tonita, I'm sorry, I'm a white idiot.
You're good. I go by Kurt too, so like whatever.
Okay.
So much.
I want to thank them so much because if I was here, it would just be like, and like me like sweating and like having a panic attack. You know, because I'd be nervous. Yeah, and we hope that this episode educated you. It gave you, you know, so many amazing thoughts and makes you inspired to go out and make some change because we need some change. We're gonna make some change, y'all. And
change for
please,
$1.
I will put links in the bio. Okay, I had a stroke. In the bio for you to donate to these places if you feel so inclined, because I feel like that is just the easiest thing to do because people don't like writing emails. I don't. It's scary. So, y'all, thank you for watching Mad Dog's Happy Hour. I am Maddie Tubergen, and we are signing out. Peace and love. Happy holidays. Donate for your Christmas cheer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bye.
Boy.
Oh, I get it.
When they say like, you know, hi gay. Sashay into